All right, we are now joined on the Sharks Audio Network by Mario Ferraro. Mario, what's going on, man? How is the offseason treating you?
Hey Ted, I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's been going pretty good. I'm back in Toronto, my hometown. Just back on a routine that I had. A couple years ago, last year, I had a couple injuries, so I didn't quite get to, be home and be in my usual off-season routine. But I'm enjoying myself right now. It's some good time with the family. I'm still trying to uh, catch up with all my cousins and friends and stuff like that. And it's a good feeling to be around. The people that I grew up being around, and it's fun to be back for
Yeah,
sure.
I can imagine, man, especially considering that this is the first normal, relatively speaking, offseason that you've had since you entered the NHL. Because the 2019-2020 season obviously ended prematurely, and that
Mhm.
was when COVID took down everything. And then we had the 56 game schedule. Last year there was the change in head coach, and there was the announcement of Greer and Quinn, and that was just, that made for a hectic offseason. And then this year it's like it's back to normal. Have you noticed that? Does it feel like, okay, like now you get a greater chance to let your body recover and just kind of, get back to not not ground level or anything like that, but just more back to like what you kind of expected it to be?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think there's just more of a feels like I can get into more of a routine. COVID definitely had an effect on that, and then the shortened season, and I wasn't here for as long of a time last summer due to injuries and stuff like that
Mhm.
that got in the way. But now I feel a little bit more mentally refreshed and able to get back into what I'm used to being able to do. And it's just good quality time here at home right now, and a good uh, good opportunity for me to get back into some the routine that I usually like to plan
Mhm.
out for myself in the off season. So it definitely does feel like a good refresh right now. And there's been a lot of change and stuff like that over the past 3 or 4 years. A lot of things that we have to adapt to. And obviously, like you already mentioned, like I said already, with COVID and stuff. But this, it feels officially like the first more normal, calm down off season, if you will,
Yeah.
in a way.
Does your body feel pretty good right now? Like, I know that I mean, you're a hockey player. You're going to be taking nicks and bruises into every
Yeah.
minute of every day during the season. But there wasn't a big injury taking you into the end of the year. Do you feel pretty good right now?
Yeah, I feel very good. I think that's what I meant just by the last offseason, just injuries kind of get in the way of what I can do and how I can train and how I can prepare for the
Mhm.
next season. So I think that this is like a feel good time for me to be able to work on the things that I need to work on, and take care of my body for sure. So I am feeling good.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Looking back at this last year, obviously, a difficult time for the franchise just because, I mean, we can go down any number of roads about, I mean, there were just cruel losses in there. Like I like sports, you're going to have some bad losses, whether you're a good team or a bad team. But especially at the start of the year, there were just some things where I would just be like, I don't understand how that happened. But I give you guys a lot of credit because it seemed like, and we would talk to you after the games, you would be 1,000 yard stare wanting to, melt through the, steel on the other side of the building because something had just happened in the game. But then the next day of practice, you guys were able to smile and able to laugh and having a good time. Like, I feel that that's pretty indicative of what you guys have been working on building to get back towards, because like it doesn't always work like that. Like sometimes bad seasons take down a team, but that wasn't what was happening with you guys last year.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely said it. We had some difficult losses, and situations where they weren't easy to bounce back and have your head held high the next day at practice. They some games where we felt we should have deserved a better outcome, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot in certain situations. And I think that just part of the learning curve for our group and our team. And it just goes, that's the big thing for us is, showing up the next day ready to work and get better, because that's what, we're about, is continuing to improve, and we're hoping that that hard work and that mentality leads into, more wins put up on the board and for
Mhm.
us next year. So it's a growing mentality for us, and that's part of our, identity as a team is to continue to grow and get better, and with the tools that we have within our organization. And I think that, it's that work ethic and that mindset will create success down the road. And it's hard because there's a lot of, in sports, it's just the way it is. You wish you can go back and make a different play here or make a different
Yeah.
decision there. And that those are things that, it's better to look forward and look on ways that you can improve for the next opportunity. I think it's important that we don't let the past affect what we're going to do moving forward, and
Mhm.
unless it's in a good way. So
Right.
that's big for our group. And um, for right now, that's my goal, is to work on the things that I improved to come into the season next year, and a better hockey player. And I think that's, collectively what everyone's goal is, as individuals and then collectively as a team. But yeah, it definitely was a frustrating season for sure. But our heads are held high, and we're looking forward to bouncing back and proving a lot of people wrong, moving into next season.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, what was the most frustrating part from my viewpoint is it's not like you guys were dogging it. It's not like you guys were not putting in good efforts and going to overtime and going into shootouts, and you were right there with every team you were playing. I mean, there are a couple bad losses, but for the most part, it was a tight game until a late goal was scored, and then you guys would pull the goalie and try and get back into it. And it was not like you were getting skated off the ice or anything. And I can just imagine how that was for you, because it was your first year wearing the A. And I'm sure there were times where you would want to come out and would be like, what did you see, Mario? And you'd want to be like, well, what do you think I saw? Or, something to that extent, like we were watching the same game. But I mean, you were always very measured and very calm with the media. And you've been like that since before you were wearing the A. But I mean, I would just imagine that you're trying to look at that mixture of emotions like, hey, we just played our asses off, but we keep on not getting rewarded for it. Because that was a consistent theme. Great effort, but the result wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's, we as athletes, to be where we are today, we for sure we're very lucky people. But throughout our lives, we've learned that, hard work, gets you rewarded, and you stick to something, and you're
Mhm.
persistent with your goals, and you're persistent with your mindset, and your objectives as individuals and as athletes. You're going to get to where you want to be. And that's the mindset that we have to have, and that's the mindset that I think that I try to keep during the year. But yeah, it is frustrating because we are working hard in these games, and it's not, we can't make excuses with ourselves, that, oh, we just had balances here, bad balances there, because at the end of the day, that is a large separation of winning
Mhm.
and losing. A very fine line there. So
Yeah.
it's a lot for us to work on, but we take the positives out of it, that we are there with these teams and we are competing with these teams. It's just, little things that we have to do better, little things that we have to do to mature as a group. And so it's, uh, at the end of the day, it's just about sticking with it. We had a lot of overtime losses. I think we had one of the most in the
Mhm.
league. Uh, but it just makes us feel all that more confident that, we're not that far off. That's something that, our coach Quinny would tell us. It's just these little things.
Mhm.
So it's difficult to accept that and say, yeah, I mean, it feels like we are, because the position in the standings. But at the end of the day, if we stick to that mindset and we just continue to work, those little things, that margin will grow shorter and shorter, and we'll find ourselves winning more games in overtime situations or in tight game situations. And but yeah, it's just about staying positive
Yeah, I
for me.
remember during the right around the trade deadline, the goal differential for you guys was equivalent with the team that was right there in the thick of a a wild card chase. But you guys, the results were farther down the standings, which was, again, it's one of those things where you're trying to marry the two things that you're seeing. And like you said, it's the very fine line. In the midst of that, though, there was the whole conversation, fans are like, oh, why did the Sharks win these 3 in a row in March? And I remember talking to Logan about this after the year. I said, like it's hard to hear like, oh, the fans think that some 18-year-old kid is going to come and save the franchise. And he said, like, yeah, he's like, you go out there and you game and you have to play, full bore. But he also said that he understood it. He said, I'm a Blue Jays fan. I'm a Bills fan. You always want your team to get the best players. But I mean, did you understand that chatter, or did you just kind of say like, no, like I'm not ever going to view that or even think about things that are outside of my control? Or did you say like, yeah, I get it. Like fans, that's part of the dynamic. I'm sure, we can go to some of the teams you've been rooting for your entire life before you were a San Jose Shark, and you probably had similar thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with what Logan said. As fans, like you get what they're saying, and given the position that we are in, and being capable of a higher pick, but as athletes, we are always on our foot on the gas, looking for ways to get better, and we have something to prove, and that kind of stuff, we don't think about. It doesn't matter to us. What matters is us getting better within the group that we have, and playing as best as we can. And, those are good signs that in March we come out with those wins for us as a group, because we're improving as a team and we're not backing down. And no matter the position we're in, we're going to give it our all, and we're going to continue to get better. So those are positive signs for us as a group. And, but yeah, I get where the fans are coming from. But to us, we look to get better now. We don't wait. We look to get better now. That's what we as athletes do. And that says a lot about, the character in our room. So, yeah.
In terms of working with kids that are going to come up, in this draft class and that have been drafted over the last couple of years, you've had a quick ascent in the NHL. You went right to the NHL coming out of college, and you quickly moved into that leadership role. Are you going to try and like foster that amongst new guys that are coming in? Or I don't know. I mean, you're a pretty naturally sociable guy. It seems like it was not hard for you to be kind of a voice in the room. People joke they probably couldn't shut you up if they tried. But is that something like, obviously you came up with Burns and there was Jumbo here and you got to play with Patty. Like you got to play with some, guys that have legendary status in the franchise and see how they were going about their business. Is that something that you internalized and then want to turn around to the next generation that's coming up?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think that, I was very fortunate to play with the guys that I did, and to still play with the guys that I do. I've learned a lot from guys like Jumbo and Burnsy in terms of their leadership and their personalities in the room. I think that it's important that everybody in the room feels, comfortable and feels open to, be themselves and to speak up, and that just it'll make them better hockey players, both on and off the ice. So I look to, with the younger guys coming in, to make them feel involved in the team and know that they have, such a large impact on the success of this team. Because even when I came in, playing lesser minutes and not playing as much in critical situations of the game, Burnsy and Jumbo and Cooch and these guys, they all make me feel like an important piece of the team. And that's, it's a 25-man roster. Everybody counts and everybody has an impact on our success. And, that's the way that I hope that I can, have an impact on the younger guys coming in, instead of, I think that something that I always thought when you first coming into the league is just, just be here and do what you got to do and stay here and try and just not screw things up, kind of thing. And as a young guy, you're thinking that because in the NHL, you're a little bit intimidated your first year, first game. You're seeing all these big names and big players around you, and you're just grateful to be there. But I think that, a lot of these younger guys have all this talent to make an impact and to make change with our team, and to in a good way, and just making those rookies aware of that, aware of their potential and aware of the impact that they can have, I think is a big thing. And as a leader, I want to extend that and, help help them realize that they're leaders too. So, yeah.
Well, year one with head coach David Quinn, he always struck me as very, it's the kind of guy who always had like a twinkle in his eye. Like he might not be letting you in on everything to us on the outside doing the whole media stuff, but he would kind of give you a wink and a nod, or a one-word answer would say more than what the one word was saying, obviously, at times. And, I felt bad for him at times because I thought that he was such an engaging character, but he was kind of stuck in that narrative, oh, the team isn't winning. But I always felt like he had a really good read on the room with you guys and knew how to push buttons, knew when to step back. How was year one with him from your perspective?
It was good. Quinny is a very, very passionate coach. Nothing gets him more fired up than winning a hockey game and playing with emotion. And I think that's big for us. He was who really emphasized coming back to the rink every single day, even after, a difficult loss like we were talking about, and getting better and coming back with emotion, because that's what we do as hockey players. That's our job, is to show up every day and try and get better. And he really pushed that on us and kept us, having that positive mindset. And it may not have shown to have it may not have shown the effect this year, but I know that in the long run it could happen this year, that it'll have a very positive effect on our success as a group. And I think Quinny has the right mindset and the right attitude to help us grow as a team, and I think he's giving us that confidence. And yeah, he was a great factor for us in keeping our positivity high, our heads held high throughout, what most would consider a difficult season.
Before I go back to a couple of hockey questions, it's like, what's the average off-season day like for you right now? Are you able to take some time to, go golf with some buddies, you barbecuing, you watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, hitting the weight room? Like what's the day for Mario?
Yeah, so I actually, at the end of the year, I took a big camping trip. I did like a 3-week. I have a truck that I put like a rooftop tent on it, a little setup. So I did a trip through Utah and Colorado. I saw
awesome
a few national parks, so that was a lot of fun. I did it over the course of 3 weeks, which was pretty wild. I never done it before. I got a dog too, so
nice.
A 5-month-old German Shepherd, and that was a challenge in itself. He got sprayed by a skunk on the way, but that was we battled through it. It was good. It was a good trip. I got home about a couple weeks ago. I took the next 5 days off. It was a long weekend here, and then now I'm back into my routine. I go to the gym in the morning. From Monday to Friday. I've already started skating. I didn't get to skate as much last summer, so I due to injuries and stuff. So I'm really trying to push being on the ice a little more this summer. And so yeah, it's workout, skate throughout the week, and then Friday to Sunday, Friday night to Sunday, hang out with my friends. I've already had a big barbecue, a couple nice steak dinners.
Nice.
I got, I think, another camping trip coming up. I've golfed with my buddies already, so I'm enjoying the summer festivities, and I'm also back into the routine from the Monday to Friday.
Nice. Are you watching the Stanley Cup playoffs at all, or are you like, nah, I can't take it unless I'm going to be a part of it?
It's definitely difficult to watch, but no, I'm watching. There's always I still have friends that are in it, or people that I played with that are in it, and it's a good, it's the best source to be learning from, and be prepared for, to learn what these other guys are doing out there, especially in how fast the game's going right now. So yeah, it is difficult, but I definitely watch, keep up.
How many of the guys on the Sharks are you texting with on a like weekly basis? Like I imagine you probably text Noah because you guys were living together, but do you guys have like a big text thread? Are you texting some of the guys, or like, I have a hard time believing you guys just all of a sudden, after talking to each other every day for the majority of the year, just go, radio silent.
Yeah, I definitely talk with Noah almost on the daily. We're roommates, so it's kind of standard. But I text. I've been texting a couple guys just checking in. It's uh, it's something that I think goes a long way. I know what as I was been in the league for over the last 3 or 4 years, guys have reached out to me, and it feels good when a teammate reaches out to you and
Mhm.
just sees how you're doing. Obviously, we're on our own schedules. We're in different states or countries, so guys
Yeah.
definitely take the time to be there, be present with their family. So we're not calling each other every day. It's like so when you hang out with the roommate all the time, you need a little space after,
Right.
right? So guys are taking some time, but we're checking in every little bit to see how we're doing, how the summer's going, and that's very very important. And then it feels like when you see each other again, it's like you never left each other. So it's definitely nice to keep in touch with the guys.
Like right now, I imagine you're enjoying yourself. You're, taking care of your body, time with friends and families. When does that itch start to come in? Like, when are you like, all right, like I've had some fun, my body
Mm.
feeling good. Now I want to get back out on the rink. I want to start practicing. Does that not come about till like September, or does it maybe start a bit in August?
No, it starts a little bit in August. It starts a little earlier sometimes. I mean, like it's just, for me, you're excited to get back as soon as you kind of get back into the gym and you start feeling good again, because it's like, damn, like you're watching playoff hockey, you wish you were out there right now. So, it hits you pretty early. It hits you pretty early, but I think as you're in your routine, it's like you enjoy, like me as a player, I enjoy the process of growing and getting better too. So
Mhm.
I enjoy being in the gym or being out in skates, power skating or whatever skates I'm doing throughout the summer with other teammates or other players. It's a fun feeling trying to grow your game and get better. So it flies by. I think it
Yeah.
goes by pretty quickly, but you always have that itch to get into game situation and get back at the ultimate goal, which is obviously winning a championship. Right? You always kind of have that feeling, but it's nice to prepare for it too. It feels good to get better.
You talk about, the ultimate goal. What are the goals for next year? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you want to win a Stanley Cup. There only one team does it in the league, so I don't know if it's quote unquote realistic. But are you already thinking about goals for yourself and goals for the team at this point, or is it still pull back and process time?
I think that the goals for the team, you could say, is process time, and that's up to us to have in mind together collectively as a group, and it makes it more efficient and chasing those goals and stuff like that. So I think that those are things that you talk about the closer you get to the season, when everybody's together. And I'm sure that's talks that we'll have as a group, right, at
Mhm.
the start season. As an individual, mine have definitely already started. They started the moment that the season has ended, and even throughout the year, you're already thinking of your next objective. So I've definitely thought of that. I don't know if you want me to get into that, but
I mean,
mine
whatever you got, man.
mine are set in stone. I little things like coming into the rink and being a good character guy for the team. Work ethic and compete is always something that is there. That's number two. I want to shoot the puck more. I need to get more pucks than net. So I'm working on getting pucks through from the point. It's already something I'm doing while I'm on the ice. Calming my game down. Being more direct.
Mhm.
And simplifying, but not oversimplifying, right? Just calming my game down, my hands, my feet, both defensively and with the puck offensively, just being a little bit more poised and making the appropriate play. And I think being more physical is something that I want to continue to do. I think I've done a pretty good job of that, but I want to continue to harp on it for myself, and I think it goes a long way in playing better defensive hockey. But those are things that I'm just trying to keep in the back of my mind, and then I'm working on stuff while I'm on the ice, and I'm just thinking about those things.
Nice. Well, I think that about covers it, Mario. I appreciate your time as always, man. I know, like, when people, after the last game, they're like, "Oh, are you excited that the year is done? It was a long year." I was like, "Yeah, it was tough because there was losing, but you watch those Stanley Cup playoff games and you're like, man, I would love to be at one of those right now, just because it's so much fun and like It's true. Like you start talking about like that itch, it probably comes a little bit earlier just because you also get to watch what guys are doing right now, and it probably feeds your training a little bit. So
Mhm.
I think everybody's excited for next year, man. Like I know that, this past season, like, yeah, it was difficult, but I'm sure that you're the type of guy who probably uses that as something that can probably make you a better player. You probably learned something from it. It's something that you can take with you and want to avoid in the future. Not that it's, nothing's ever easy, in this league, especially, or in life. But, I imagine that you guys all probably looked at this year and were like, yeah, we're not going to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, you take a step back and then you take 2 steps forward. So we're always looking to grow and get better. And it's for us, it's the adversity. I think is definitely, it's been a challenge, but I think it's a good thing. And you asked about the goals, and I know you said we're gonna talk. I know I said that we're gonna talk about it come September and stuff like that. But we all know what we want.
Mhm.
We all know as individuals, from a team standpoint, we all want to be in a playoff race. So we know that that's the goal, but it's the little things that are going to come to the little things that we have to do together to reach that goal. So there's little steps in between, that game to game, practice to practice, we're going to continue to work on, and hopefully be in a playoff chase next year. And it's these moments where you're looking and you're watching playoff hockey and you're not there, that gets you built up even more. And
Yeah.
competitive nature that everybody has in our locker room, it's you have to have that to be in the NHL, and that's what we all have. And we're setting a high standard for ourselves, and we're pretty pissed off about the way last season went. And we want to redeem ourselves, both for the team, for ourselves, but for the fans too. Give them what they deserve.
Right on, Mario. Well, I will see you soon, man, when you're back here in the Bay Area. I'll try not to bug you too much over the summer. I appreciate your time as always, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. Have a good one.